WrestleMania 41 is right around the corner. I'm a bit late to the party for match card predictions, seeing as we already have a men's Royal Rumble and a women's Royal Rumble winner. The elimination chambers are almost set, but we're going to take a deep dive and explain my match card in today's video. First off, we're going to get it out of the way. Jey Uso won the men's Royal Rumble, so obviously on Monday Night Raw, he challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I can see this happening on night one, and honestly, I don't even see this main eventing night one. As much as I would love to see Jey Uso main event a WrestleMania and he can solidify that name, main event Jey Uso, I don't see Gunther and him main eventing. We just saw them battle at Saturday night's main event, which honestly they had a great match. In some spots it had me thinking that Jey Uso was going to defeat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Am I a fan of Gunther versus Jey Uso happening at WrestleMania? Yes and no. If the payoff is for Jey Uso to win the World Heavyweight Championship, I am okay with it. If Gunther is just going to beat Jey Uso at WrestleMania, it was a waste. Gunther, as of late, they've kind of turned him around. He's a little bit more of a dominant champion. I know he had that rough spell, especially in the rivalry with Damian Priest, where he looked really weak after losing to Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. But he has turned it around, and I do have some doubt that Jey Uso is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Moving on from that, night one, we're going to stick with night one. We're going to go 5 matches for night one, 5 matches for night 6. Or, imagine, fucking 6 nights of WrestleMania? God damn! And then we'll do 5 matches of night 2. So, we already have Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. The past couple weeks, we've been teasing the likes of Penta, AJ Styles. I honestly think that we can take the likes of AJ Styles, Penta, Braun Breaker. We could take a couple other superstars, such as, I know Malachi Black is set to return to the WWE, whether he's Aleister Black or Malachi Black. You can throw him in there. There's 4 men. I think we're going to get a 6-man ladder match for the Intercontinental title, much like they used to do back in the day. I think that's a possibility. I would place that on night 1 of WrestleMania. Get things right out the bat. Set the night on fire. Do what you gotta do. The people that I would like to see in that, obviously Braun Breaker, because he's the Intercontinental Champion. AJ Styles, Penta, Malachi Black. You could even go with Chad Gable being the 5th. And as a 6th man, you could even go with Sheamus. You can keep going with the feud of Braun Breaker and Sheamus. I think that match would slap. I think it would fit perfectly on night 1.
You know what? This I can popular.
Moving into our 3rd match of night 1, we're gonna go with the Women's United States Championship, and we're gonna go Chelsea Green. Obviously, she's the champion right now. You can have Piper Niven at ringside with her, and I don't really see Alexa Bliss, who was confirmed to be in the Elimination Chamber match, winning the Elimination Chamber, but I feel like she's going to have a big spot on the WrestleMania match card. This is where I would place her. I would place her in the United States title match against Chelsea Green. I think you can build this as in, maybe Alexa Bliss is going to join the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six are targeting Chelsea Green for the way that she treats Piper Niven, and so on. There's your 3rd match of the night. We've got Chelsea Green taking on Alexa Bliss for the Women's United States Championship. Match number 4. So, going to Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre could be placed on match 4, whatever. Drew McIntyre, I know he was rumored to be taking on Damian Priest. We're going back-to-back United States title matches. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was rumored to take on Damian Priest, but the whispers and whatever from the IWC, from the wrestling community, we want Drew McIntyre in a bigger fucking moment. Unfortunately for Damian Priest, that kind of leaves him out of things, because Damian Priest has been red hot this past year in 2024. But I feel like Shinsuke Nakamura has had, and man, dude, Shinsuke's great, don't get me wrong. His entrance, his Titantron, his Minitron, his theme song, his in-ring work, he's just a talented individual, but every time he has that United States title, The reign is dog shit. Period. Dog shit. Drew McIntyre for Shinsuke Nakamura. You can give Drew McIntyre the United States title. That puts Drew McIntyre on a bigger program. I don't really know where to put Damian Priest. I don't have him on my match card, unfortunately. Moving on into the main event, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I will make my point clear. Charlotte Flair won the Women's Royal Rumble. Maybe the way that I have night 1 and night 2 booked, it's not going to work out that way because I had Jey Uso and Gunther opening up for the World Heavyweight Championship. Charlotte Flair, and I know a lot of you are going to hope that I say Tiffany Stratton right after this, but the women have yet to have, I'm just going to use it for an example, but like a Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns where they went and they three-peated a main event of WrestleMania. We saw at WrestleMania 39 that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair can set the house on fire, and we were all complaining about how that should have been the main event of night 1. Or you can compare it to Stone Cold vs. The Rock, how they three-peated at a WrestleMania, and so on. I think that could really solidify another thing into the women's revolution. And on top of it, main eventing, we haven't had a women's WrestleMania main event, and it's been several years since we've had a women's WrestleMania main event. It was Bianca and Sasha, that main event. That would be my night 1 match card. You have 5 title matches. Night 2 is where things heat up a little bit more. Opening up night 2 of WrestleMania 41. If you would have asked me 2-3 weeks ago, I was going to tell you that it was going to be a triple threat match between Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. Drew McIntyre's on SmackDown now. On night 1, I have him facing Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. So, scratch that idea. Opening up night 2 of WrestleMania 41, I have Seth Rollins taking on Roman Reigns. I think that's a match that needs to happen if we're not going to get The Rock versus Roman Reigns in the main event of night 2. I think Roman and Seth Rollins, especially after the curb stomp at the Royal Rumble, they have the history for it to be a marquee match at WrestleMania. It needs to happen. That would be my first match of night 2. Moving into the second matchup of night 2, I've got Tiffany Stratton taking on Roxanne Perez. I think Roxanne Perez, who hasn't qualified for the Elimination Chamber yet, like I said, this is my prediction. This is what I think is going to happen. I think you can strap the rocket to Roxanne Perez, especially after her NXT Women's title reign. And you can throw her in this marquee match, and it's going to jumpstart her career on the main roster. I think Roxanne Perez is a sleeper for the Elimination Chamber. I think she can win it all, and we can have Roxanne Perez versus Tiffany Stratton, in which Tiffany Stratton was pulled up to the main roster before. We got a one-on-one match between Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton, as far as I can recall. Meaning, the whole Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley three-peat for the night 1's main event isn't all that crazy when you put it in hindsight. There's still challengers for Tiffany Stratton that have just as big of an impact as if it was going to be Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. Match 3, and obviously this has been hinted at for the past couple weeks. I am putting Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn on night 2 in match number 3. Much like the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins feud, I feel like the story's there, the history's there. Obviously, Sami Zayn siding with the Bloodline as of late and helping out Roman Reigns has Kevin Owens pissed off. Kevin Owens jumping Sami Zayn on this previous Monday Night Raw. It's going to lead to WrestleMania. It's going to happen. It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. I know that it's cutting it pretty close to WrestleMania, obviously. It's like 2 months away. Jade Cargill has been out of action for a while now. I could see Jade Cargill maybe returning at the Elimination Chamber, and we can find out who jumped her and took her out of action. I think it could lead to a Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill at WrestleMania 41. I think that's what I would put as match 4. It's in the air for me too, though, because the whole Jade Cargill being jumped thing, it was during Bianca Belair's match. I don't think it was Bianca Belair that was the one that jumped her and took her out of action, but I feel like you can twist it in a way to make it happen. It's still a match that I would love to see, whether it's this year at WrestleMania or at SummerSlam this coming year. Match 5, things are going to get a little bit crazy here. The main event of night 2, you notice I left John Cena off the card as of right now. In the main event, I have John Cena winning the Elimination Chamber. We get Cody versus John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 41 Night 2. But let's go back to the Elimination Chamber real quick. My Elimination Chamber predictions, the final two, obviously it's going to be CM Punk versus John Cena, right? Right? I mean, there's a couple ways that you can go with it. You can go with John Cena versus Logan Paul. You can have more matches. I'm sticking to a 10 matches over 2 nights. So, this is what I would like to see. The main event being John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Obviously, you have these two faces coming together. You have the face of the WWE as of right now taking on the face of the WWE then. It doesn't really work. If you're going to ask me, it doesn't really work. If Cody Rhodes defeats John Cena at his final WrestleMania, that man is going to get booed out of the fucking arena. Unless you want to turn Cody Rhodes heel, or John Cena heel in a way, where he turns heel during the match and he wins his 17th world title, in which I don't think is going to happen at WrestleMania. I think it's going to happen maybe on his literal final match in the WWE. I don't see John Cena sticking around for a full-time schedule. Obviously, he has, 26 appearances or something like that for his farewell tour. But I am holding my ground on Cody versus John Cena. John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber. CM Punk is now off the match card. My match card for WrestleMania. CM Punk still has that favor to ask Paul Heyman for helping out Roman Reigns and the Bloodline at War Games. I think CM Punk could somehow get his way into this matchup. Whether someone's got to be the heel. Whether it's Cody Rhodes, John Cena, don't see it being those two. I think CM Punk is going to be the heel here. He can come off as a whiny heel. He got his favor from Paul Heyman. He gets his WrestleMania main event. John Cena gets his undisputed title match at a chance to win his 17th world title. Cody Rhodes is in a big marquee matchup outside of the Bloodline, kind of, because CM Punk had to ask for the favor from Paul Heyman, who is a part of the Bloodline. But I can see a triple threat match happening between CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. Loading the card up like that, the likes of obviously The Rock, who I think it's a bit too late to be going up against Roman Reigns. I think The Rock will still be at WrestleMania in some type of capacity, but I don't think he will be in a match like he was last year. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this match card prediction for WrestleMania 41, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you, bye.